Well, hello, good evening, whatever. Welcome to another episode of You've Got Something to Say. Before we get started, let me just say that it's late on a Friday night. I'm still sick. And if you're watching this on YouTube instead of listening to the podcast, I apologize because this is not my best look. But apparently, that's becoming a theme around here. Not ready, still did it. Still figuring it out, still believing in magic. And we're going to need some magic today, let me tell you. Okay. And you know what? Tonight, still recording anyway, because I made a commitment to myself that I was going to show up and keep doing this. And so here we are. And honestly, that kind of leads into what I want to talk about today. Because for years I had a very clear goal. I was focused on one thing, becoming a seven-figure earner. I mean, that's what success looked like. It's what I saw all over social media. It's what everybody was talking about. It's what everybody was pushing everyone else to be, a seven-figure earner. That's what it looked like to me. And I started my business over 25 years ago with that goal in mind. But I never quite got there. And so success, while I consider myself successful now, not in the way I originally imagined. You see, my mom passed away, and my dad, we discovered, was in the beginning stages of Alzheimer's. And so I brought him to live with me. And trust me, that changes everything. Everything changed like overnight. There was nothing gradual about it. It was overnight because suddenly I had basically what amounted to a child in a grown man's body living in my home. And if you don't think that presents a challenge when you're also working a job and trying to build a seven-figure business, it's challenging, let me tell you. Okay. Challenging doesn't even begin to cover. And as I started looking at everything I was doing, the things that I thought mattered most started shifting. Those seven-figure goals that I had been chasing, they just they didn't seem quite as important anymore because now I had something else to think about, someone else to think about. My whole focus now was on making sure that my father was cared for, that he was safe, that he had what he needed. Before that, I was always asking, how much money can I make? How far can I go? How big can I grow? But as I discovered I needed to spend more time with him to take care of him, as I discovered that other things were getting in the way of that, I stopped asking that question, how much can I make? The question changed. Instead of asking, how much more can I make? I started asking, how much is enough? How much income is enough to make sure that I can take care of him and my family and my responsibilities? How much freedom is enough? How much freedom do I need to meet these goals? How much flexibility is enough? How much freedom do I need to have to be able to drop everything at a moment's notice because someone needs me? How much time? How much time is enough? I'd already lost my mother. And I'll be honest, I hadn't seen her in a couple of years before she passed. I missed all that time. And I knew my father wasn't going to be around forever. So, how much time was enough? I was watching him slowly go away. That's the only way to put it. Slowly drift away. I mean, at least now he still knew me somewhat, but I was watching him slowly drift away. So, how much time was enough before I lost him altogether? And that's what I focused on. Having enough time, enough freedom, enough flexibility, enough to be present for the people that I loved, enough to build a life that actually supported the things that mattered most. And that's why I'm talking about this on a podcast that I called You've Got Something to Say. Because finding your voice isn't really about learning to speak. It's not about podcasting. It's not about writing a book. It's not about standing on a stage and speaking to thousands of people. Those are just the tools. They're the vehicles. Finding your voice is figuring out what you actually believe, what you actually value. It's figuring out what experiences changed you, what lessons shaped you, what moments in your life completely shifted the way you see the world. Because that's where your message comes from. Everything else is just a way to put your message out there. And I think a lot of people get this, they get this backwards. They think they need the podcast or the book or a social media strategy or a bigger platform. And if they have all those things, then suddenly they're going to get the engagement and the leads and the sales. But I think before you need any of that, you need clarity. You need to know what you're actually trying to say. And sometimes life hands you that message. Sometimes your hardest season becomes your biggest lesson. At least it was for me. Because what I learned from all of that time taking care of my dad was that enough. I learned how much was enough. So sometimes the things that you never would have chosen becomes the change. It becomes the thing that changes you, and it changes you forever. So for me, that lesson was simple. It's not always about more. Sometimes it's just about having enough. Enough income, yes. I have bills to pay. I have responsibility. So enough income, yes. But also enough freedom. Enough freedom to be present for the people that need me. Enough flexibility that I can go and do the things I need to do or the things I want to do without having to be answering to anybody else, without having to be responsible to anyone else. Enough time enough time for the people I love. My husband is up in his 70s. My children are grown. My grandkids are mostly grown. And I have to admit, I missed a lot of time with them while I was chasing those seven figures. And one of the things I learned through this whole process was that I needed time. I needed to have enough time for the people that I cared about. I'd already missed out on too much. That experience completely changed the way I look at business, at money, and at life. Because I stopped focusing so much on how much money I could make. And I started focusing on the kind of life that I actually want to live. So let me ask you a question, okay? As we wrap this up, because you can see I'm having a little trouble here now. Let me close it up with a question. What experience changed the way you see the world? What lesson completely shifted your perspective? Because the answer to that question might just be the beginning of your message. A friend of mine always used to say that your mess is your message. So this might be the beginning of your message. It might be the thing that you're meant to write about. It might be the thing that you're meant to stand on that stage and speak about or build your podcast around. Or it might be the thing that you just simply need to share with someone else, someone who needs to hear it. And it might just be the very thing that you've got something to say about.